Welcome everybody, and I'm going to be asking lots of questions here today because I want to keep this as interactive as possible so that you can learn as much as possible, because obviously the more energy you put into this, the more energy that I can put back into you, and the more you'll remember, the more you'll be able to apply. So again, the key thing, I'm going to start to ask you questions. Please answer, type them into the chat. Don't be afraid to do so. That's what we're here to do, is to get you engaged, keep you engaged, and have some fun doing this. So let me ask you a question to begin with. Right? Let me ask you a question to begin with. How many of you right now think it's difficult to make money on the internet? Just either raise your hand. Now, by that, I don't mean put up your hand in front of the computer. You just look silly. I mean, press on the little hand icon or type in yes. Right? And don't be embarrassed about it. Just give your honest opinion on it. Let me know what you think. Okay, that seems to be most of you. Okay, that certainly seems to be most of you there. Okay, now, how many of you in the last week have bought something on the internet? How many of you in the last week have spent money on the internet? Well, that's interesting. Lots, loads, yes, for sure, for sure. Well, that's interesting, right? Because here's the thing, if you answered yes to question 1, you shouldn't have been answering that it was difficult to make money on the internet, because the thing is, you are already excellent at making money on the internet. The only problem is you're excellent at making money for somebody else. You know how to spend lots of money on the internet, but what you don't know is how can you be making that money on the internet. And actually, Raymond, I don't know if you know, your camera is still on. I don't know do you want that or not, just so you know, you're aware.
I love you. I want to hear this.
I can see that inquisitive look on your face, but just so you know, right? Because the thing is, guys, if you know how to spend money on the internet, it also means you know how to make money on the internet. If you can press the buttons to get to buy now, you can get the buttons to sell now, right? So I want to right away blow that out of the water, that it's difficult to make money on the internet. The people who are telling you that are people who don't know how to make money on the internet, and that's why it's difficult. It's time to rethink how we think about the internet. Because if you can spend money, you can make money on the internet. And here's the thing, right? It comes down to this device, the smartphone. There are now more phones on the planet than people. This device has changed humanity. Why? It is the addiction of society. What device woke you up this morning? Your phone. What device do you carry around with you all day in your handbag? And that's just the men. Your phone. What device do you bring into the smallest room in your house where nobody else is invited? The bathroom. Your phone. And what is your new routine at nighttime when you kneel down beside the bed like your parents used to get you to do? Except instead of prayer, you're now kneeling down to plug in and make sure your phone is charging. It's the last routine that we all follow all over the world, because we couldn't care less if our partner is charged first thing in the morning. But we know if we start today with our phone on a 12% battery, we know we're not going to have a good day, right? And that is going on all over the world, and people aren't aware of the fact as to how addicted we are to these devices. We are completely addicted right now. I'm guessing there's one within 12 inches of your hand, right? Why? Because we generate all of our thoughts and all of the things we are going to do every single day based off of other people contacting us. When is the last time this device has rang and it was you ringing yourself? Right? When was the last time your WhatsApp went off and it was a message from you? Never, never. It's always somebody else looking for a few different things from you: your time, your attention, your energy, your focus, and ultimately, in many cases, your money. It's time to become aware that as long as you're on that device, you are fulfilling other people's goals and not your own. We are going to switch that completely around tonight. We could not have met at better times. These are, and I'm not going to say the word that everybody is saying, these are blank times. We all know it begins with a U and ends with a D. I just have heard it so much, I'm not going to say it anymore. But let's just say we are living in a world that we have never experienced before. So 2 weeks ago, I would have said, yes, unprecedented. But now this is, literally, we are creating history as we speak. People do not know what to do with themselves. They're in shock. We cannot. Most people around the world do not know what's happening. They have suddenly, hopefully, woke up to the realization that their revenue, most people, their income, which they never saw as risky, has been the most risky income of all. It's reliant on other people's businesses. It's relying on other people, paying them to show up in the morning and work in their employment. And people always said, oh, it's risky to go set up your own internet business, when in fact, all along, the biggest risk was not setting up multiple streams of income. So I want to show you how to turn that fear, to turn that scarcity, to turn that just disempowerment that people are feeling all over the world. We're going to turn that around completely and rethink it and realize that this is going to be a rebirth for you. You are about to come back and come alive and take ownership of your financial future. It is in your hands, and there's no point pointing at anybody else, because the minute you point at somebody else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. We got to take responsibility. Whatever situation we find ourselves in today is a product of everything you know and learned up until now. But the results you're going to get in the future start with what you start learning today. So I'm so glad our paths have met. I'm so grateful to Raymond, Wendy, Mike, and the entire team that have managed to squeeze me in, because we've been looking to do this for a long time. But my God, I'm so grateful that it's happened in this particular moment, because now is the time for you to take ownership of this stuff completely and stop wasting time on social media and start making money from this, right? That's the critical thing that I want you guys to grasp, okay? So whether you are in business already, let me know if you're in business. Let me know if you have a business. Just type in yes if you have a business. Okay, so I'm going to guess about maybe half of you have a business right now. You know you need social media. You mightn't like it, you mightn't be getting the results you want from it, but you know it's probably not being utilized to the best possible results right now. And that's okay, because that's normal. A lot of people don't know how to fully use social media, but you know you need it, right? And you're probably an entrepreneur in many cases. One of my favorite quotations about entrepreneurs is that they're the only people I know that work 80 hours a week and to avoid a 40-hour-a-week job, right? So, you know, there's something missing for most people when it comes to their own business, and we're going to fix that today. The second thing is, you might be one of those crazy people who want to be an influencer, and good for you. You want to get your voice out there. You're crazy like me and have no problem speaking. You're like Raymond. You've got a message. You have a book written. You have a book on the way to being written, to being published, or now you see that you've got an opportunity. You've got time to finish that book that you may have been waiting to finish for a while. You know you need to get out there. You've got a message. Social media is definitely going to help you. Or maybe you're in the third camp. You could be in the first 2 camps, by the way. You can be in both. But maybe you're in the third camp, where you're not bothered about social media. In fact, you don't even like it. And you don't fancy going on there. You don't fancy sharing a message. You don't fancy telling anybody about what you just had for dinner. But you do want to make some extra money. You don't have products. You don't have services. You don't have a business, but you definitely want to make use of this and start making money from it. So regardless of which of these you're in, right, this is for you. I really want to assure you of that. You can hide in the background completely. Nobody ever needs to know it's you. Think about Google, Facebook, Costa, Starbucks, McDonald's. What do they all have in common? There's no personality coming out leading to social media. They're hidden in the background. Nobody knows who they are or really cares in most instances. So you can grow a brand, hide in the background, and nobody ever need to know that it's you either. So this works for you regardless of where you are right now. And we're going to make sure that you maximize this opportunity. Now, here's a quick picture of me, in case you're imagining what's going on here below the t-shirts. I'll spare you the imagination. I wasn't always this amazing though, right? This didn't happen overnight. I'm joking, of course. Of course I was always this amazing. Of course I'm joking, right? I worked in a corporate job for almost a decade. I'm from Ireland, live in Ireland half the year. I live in Cyprus the other half of the year, which was always my dream, but just never would have been possible if I'd stayed on the corporate path. But the reason I'm sharing this with you is everything changed for me when I went on holidays back in 2006 with my 3 closest friends. We went to Australia and New Zealand, right, for 6 weeks. And I had to give a year's notice at work, I had to get a loan from the bank. And we went away and we were really excited about it. But the amazing thing was it took us 4 weeks of being on vacation before I mentally left my job. I was still mentally there. I knew what meetings were on today. I knew who was going to be trying to get me in trouble while I wasn't there to defend myself. All these kind of things. Let me just pull back the lighting here a bit. Just it's a little bit shiny. Here we go. That's a bit better. Okay, perfect. And we asked ourselves the question, why do we even work for 47, 48 weeks of the year if we cannot mentally disconnect in the 4 weeks that we have off? And the reason we all said was, well, everybody we else know does exactly the same thing. But the problem is, if you live in a madhouse and you're surrounded by crazy people, nobody thinks they're crazy, right? We measure our sanity based on the sanity of those around us. We look at the person at work who works 20 hours more than us, crazy Joe, and doesn't get paid any overtime. So by default, he's the crazy one, right? But that's the thing. We judge how sane we are based on what they do. But of course, I often find that the people with the least money have the most advice for my money, right? And it's an interesting thing, right? If you pay for free advice, it's worth every penny that you get. So we need to stop comparing ourselves to the people around us who are in no way looking to achieve the goals that you want in life. You shouldn't need to be embarrassed that you want more, that you want to get more out of life, that you want to help others more in life, that you want to achieve different levels of empowerment and fulfillment, and you want to make an impact on this planet. And you book writers out there, you know you have a message that you want to get out there, and I want to help you to release that, okay? So the beauty of this, by the way, is I'm very much like Raymond. We cross paths so many times. Like I fly over 100 times a year. This is the longest time I've been grounded in probably 8 years, because I love to fly. I love to travel the world. I love to get paid to do that. I love to share the message and change people's lives. But what I didn't like about the internet, and what I always was put off by, was that I used to think making money on the internet meant you had to be stuck behind a computer all day. And I'm not technical, right? As you can see, it took me how long to get into this webinar tonight, right? I mean, it's pretty obvious. And the other thing is, I must take a picture also before I finish of this this setup that I have. It's so professional right now, so you can actually understand what I mean. But the key thing is this, right? You do not need to be technical. You do not need to like social media. You do not need to have a business. You do not need to have products or a service or a book. If you have, fantastic, but you don't need any of those things, because once you learn this, you can also get somebody else to do this for you at $2 to $3 an hour, right? And you don't have to do any of this. But now, I didn't know this stuff 10 years ago, right? Everything changed for me when I went to an event in Ireland in 2009. So 3 years after I went on holidays, I was on the lookout for something different, because I finally started to realize my corporate journey wasn't going to bring me where I wanted to go. In fact, what I found was I was getting deeper into debt, because with every pay rise I got, my expenses tended to go up just as much. Now, I have a picture from that event in Dublin that I was in 2009, believe it or not. Somebody took a picture of me in the audience that day. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong picture. That's a different event for later. Here it is. This is the picture here where I always feel that I look like a rabbit stuck in the headlights. I called in sick for the first time in 9 years in my job. Like, I would never call in sick. I mean, even for leprosy, I was coming back to work every single day. I was one of those employees. I borrowed my work laptop, which I must actually give back at some point. And I always feel that I'm looking like a rabbit stuck in front of the headlights. You know why? Because I was in shock. All these American speakers were talking about how they were making millions on the internet. They were high school dropouts. They all had the same story. They were born in a hospital. Somehow they were mixed up as babies. They ended up in a reed basket and were sent up a local river. They were rescued by wolves miraculously, and the wolves fortunately raised them for the first 7 years of their life in a forest. And the kid set up a little heroin factory and started using its entrepreneurial spirit, but it sampled a bit too much of its own produce and ended up, fortunately, a National Geographic TV crew happened to go through the forest, found the kid, checked him into a Betty Ford detox clinic, and then at age 18, somehow they seem to find Jesus, find a Wi-Fi connection, and suddenly make millions on the internet. Pretty much every speaker, one after the other, had the same story. I said, somebody needs to close that hospital. There's something strange going on here, right? But that is the crazy kind of stories that I was hearing. I said, this whole thing doesn't really add up. And I checked to the person next to me and said, look, this is a scam, right? I mean, I know this looks like really good evidence and proof that these guys are making millions, but it has to be a scam, right? I mean, if it was this easy, everybody would be doing it. And the stranger next to me confirmed, yes, of course it's a scam. I mean, if it wasn't a scam, then why wouldn't everybody else be doing it? And that was my starting point. And that's why I love talking about this today, because I was the skeptic. I was the person that said, everybody knows the internet's a scam. If it wasn't, everybody would be. That was literally my starting point. Hence why ReThink is written everywhere now, because I here on the planet to let people know we need to rethink our thoughts if we want to get different results, because our thoughts are full of BS. What does BS stand for? Let me go in and check what you're going to say to this. What does BS stand for? Oh my Lord, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Right, keep it clean. Belief systems. Thank you, Janice. Belief systems, of course. Wow, God, a lot of you need to clean up your vocab. Belief systems. We're brought up with belief systems like money doesn't grow on trees. Well, where does paper grow? Money literally grows on trees. We're told that it's better to give than to receive. Says who? The person doing the receiving, of course. Giving and receiving are the same act. It just depends on which side you're on, right? If it was this easy, everybody would be doing it, right? No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. The reason why people aren't willing to step outside of their comfort zones because they're lazy, right? Or if it was this good, everybody would be doing it. No, they wouldn't, right? Or yeah, and these constant belief systems, like we learned about Santa later on in life, but our parents didn't go back and correct all these other misperceptions that we were brought up with, right? But if you actually look at the wealthiest people in the world and look at where their wealth is coming from nowadays, it's pretty incredible to see that quite a lot of it is generated through the internet, right? If we look at the richest man in the world, he owns a bookshop, right? But here's the thing, insanity, Einstein, as he says it, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that is by far what most of us do over and over again, right? And the reason I had the picture of the Titanic there is because so many people are like this, right? They feel like something is wrong. They feel like they're going into debt, but they're kind of on board the Titanic, holding hands with other people saying, this can't be right. Should we get on a lifeboat? I don't think this is good. Like the water is coming up to our knees. The person next to them says, it's okay. Look, everybody else is in the same boat. In that case, quite literally, right? But seriously, the water is up to our waist now. Are you sure this is the best thing to do just because we're all doing it? What about Crazy Johnny in the lifeboat over there? He seems to have room. No, don't worry about Crazy Johnny and his crazy ideas, right? And that's how most of us are. We're in this crazy way of just if enough people are doing it, whether it's insane or not, we tend to do it too. And we're going to address this today and make you realize that if there's any scam going, it's not where you might think it is. So looking at the wealthiest people in the world, the vast majority of their wealth nowadays is generated through the internet. So stop focusing on those that are the have-nots and start focusing on those who have. Now, just in case you feel a little bit left out, that I haven't got the magical guru story, I'm going to embellish my story just a little bit. This is where I'm from Limerick in Ireland. Hopefully some of you have been there before and made it back out. Our nickname is Stab City, so you can imagine it's not exactly the most luxurious of places, but this grassy knoll here is where, of course, I was rescued by the wolves. Eventually, I was able to take over that castle, and that's where I park all of my Lamborghinis, etc. Right now, why am I bringing this up? Right, because I got lucky. Right, as a 7-year-old, and no need to laugh. This is really me. Right, as a 7-year-old, you might be wondering, wow, time wasn't kind to him. What happened? Well, what do you think happened? I'm Irish. Alcohol happened, of course, right? And you've probably heard the advice before of live with passion, right? Live with passion. If you're Irish and you do that, this is where you generally tend ending up living, right? Where I spent most of the 90s. But I got lucky because somebody left a laptop beside my trolley, which had a Wi-Fi connection in it, and suddenly I went on to make millions on the internet. So hopefully that adds up to the sort of normal story you're expecting, but I'm afraid that none of that is true, except for the pictures of me as a younger child. The fact of the matter is both my parents are teachers. Both my parents are teachers. Now, hands up if you have that blessing, right? Because that's a crazy one, when both your parents are teachers. Because some of you had a chance. I had no chance. I had absolutely no chance. What do I mean by that? Well, when I ran away from school every day, as I got home, I was like, what's the point in going home? There's 2 more teachers waiting for me every single day, right? Every single day there was going to be 2 more waiting for me. So here's the thing with that, right? Here's the thing. I obviously followed their process. What was their process? Get yourself a permanent job. I don't know if you remember those, but they were all the rage there a few years ago. And it turns out they weren't that permanent, right? It turns out they were not that permanent. But like anybody, okay, like anybody here, there normally is a moment, a tipping point in your life when everything changes. And for me, it was at this event when one speaker got up, right? The first guy got up, he said, turn to the person next to you, stand up, he said, and massage the person next to you. Now, clearly he'd never been to Ireland before, because long before social distancing was a thing, we've been practicing this for generations in Ireland. We don't even touch our own family, let alone strangers, right? The reason we drink is not because we love it, it's because we need to procreate, right? But the thing is, all joking aside, one speaker came up, but he could sense the skepticism in the room. He could sense the fact that we didn't really buy into this. And he said, guys, I get it, I get it. He said, you are completely brainwashed. I said, what? He said, you are completely brainwashed. You believe that wealth is connected to the numbers of letters after your name. Let me repeat that. You believe that wealth is connected to the number of letters after your name. And he qualified that by explaining BSc, BA, MBA, MSc, PhD, those letters, your qualifications, that is what we are brought up to believe is what is tied to your wealth. He said, what I found a better measure of wealth, in fact, is numbers in your bank account rather than letters after your name. I remember thinking, wow, this guy's an a-hole. I didn't like him to begin with. Now I'm certain of it, because sometimes when you hear the truth, it really, really hurts. And he had nailed it, right? He said, you spent the first 20-something years of your life focusing on just getting those letters because you believe that's the key to unlocking wealth in your life. Now he said, look around you and look at people who've been through that process, and how many of them that have reached the peak of that process are actually wealthy. He said, let me save you even trying to figure that out. He said, what mode of transport do we associate with professors? He said, bicycles. He said, I've got 2 Lamborghinis. You take your pick, and I'm a high school dropout, is what he said. And he said, I'll prove it to you. He said, the higher you go in the education, eventually when you reach your peak, what happens? You drop all the letters. You drop your doctorates, you drop your professorship, everything is deleted, and you go back to your name. So let me save you spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on traditional education, only to get rid of all your letters in the end. We need to unlock a new way of making money because the old one is broken. It is completely broken. It's not your fault. The educational system is hundreds of years old, teaching how to read and write, which was all about bringing it around the Industrial Revolution and making good employees. This is the first ever generation that if you do what your parents did, you will be broke. That is a very, very worrying thought, but most people stick their heads in their sand. And congratulations on being here, because I'm just going to ask you to have an open mind for the next hour or so, because this will be a life-changing experience for you. And thank you so much, Raymond and Wendy and Mikey and all of your team for having me here, because I see this as that tipping point moment for many of you at home tonight. In fact, what I'd ask you to do is, if you can do this right now, is get your phone, take a picture of me, Raymond, and this slideshow right now, because you will want to come back to this and say, this is the day that I made the decision to completely change my future destiny, right? Because believe me, nobody likes to be 4 shots on a diet, but they wish you had it afterwards. Take this picture tonight and say, this was when I was in lockdown. This was when I suddenly discovered I can and I will take ownership of this. So this is your moment. And thank you, Raymond. Really, really appreciate me being on this evening. So what did I do? I invested in 3 courses. I bought 3 separate courses from 3 strangers from America about how to make money on the internet, because what I figured was this: what's the worst that could happen? If I learn how to master the stock market, I could lose money because it depends on the stocks, whether they go up or down. If I learn about property, it depends on how the property market is going. But if I learn about an online business, I just sell people what they want. It doesn't matter what happens in the economy. We change what we sell depending on what's going on in the economy. So I signed up for 3 separate workshops, stuck them on a credit card, and I started to learn about how to do this. And as I went to these workshops, I was consistently told about this guy, Tony Robbins, who I'd never heard of before. Hands up if you've heard of Tony Robbins before. And the reason I'm showing you this picture is because, wow, lots of you. Well, I'm showing you this picture, number 1, because it's the only picture I've ever seen where somebody else's head is bigger than Tony's, right? So I can, yeah, that's me, right? But secondly, the reason I'm showing you was I went to my boss and said, look, I've heard about this guy. He's really good at teaching personal development, and he's really good at helping leaders. I want to work on my leadership skills. So my boss signed it off. He didn't know it was in New York City. He didn't know it was on St. Patrick's weekend. Of all weekend, St. Patrick's weekend. So I thought, wow, nothing to lose here. This is amazing. I'm going to New York, paid for by work. How could this possibly go wrong? Then I went in. There were 3,000 New Yorkers there. 3,000 New Yorkers. This is March 2009. And Tony just came out, and as he does, nice and quietly said, everybody, I want you to jump around like complete lunatics. And to my absolute shock and dismay, 2,994 people started jumping around like complete lunatics. That's all it took. And I slowly started backing towards the closest exit. I said, I need to get out of here, right? This isn't for me. But you couldn't make this stuff up. As I left, as I was about to leave, I bumped into somebody. He had ginger hair and freckles. He couldn't have looked more Irish. In fact, I bet we were related if we started to talk about it. He looked at me and he was about to say something, and I said, before you say anything, I just want you to know, whoever you are, that I didn't use my money to be here. He said, forget the money. I've already written it off. I've seen this on the Discovery Channel. This is a cult. Now I know how he's going to get us to walk across fire. We're going to drink suicide tablets tonight, and they're going to drag us across the coals to destroy the evidence. I said, you could be right. And he said, let's just go drinking. It is St. Patrick's weekend after all. And as I was thinking about it, Tony says, oh, by the way, those of you not dancing, you're walking on fire tonight. If you don't do everything I say, you're going to burn. I said, oh, well, fair enough, Tony. Why didn't you say so? I just needed a bit of motivation. So off I went, jumping around like a lunatic, like everybody else, right? Like everybody else. And then what happened, right? Then what happened? Well, guess what? I, like everybody else, joined in. This picture is actually from the official website, where it's me jumping up and down saying, touch me, Tony, please, touch me. And we touched. Sure enough, it was God himself. My leprosy was cured instantly. I felt like we had some kind of a deeper connection that I just couldn't quite put my hand on, but it seemed that little bit different. And what did I do? I texted my boss, told him his services would no longer be required, and I quit my job. I do not recommend you do this, because there's nothing worse than an Irish person at a motivational event, because eventually you'll get us excited and get us charged up, but we still hate sales. We cannot stand it, right? So I ignored all the bits that Tony said about, now that you're worked up, now that you're enthusiastic and excited, you need to channel that energy into something positive. Find a coach, find somebody who is where you want them to be, where you want to go, and get them to show you how to do that. So I ignored that bit. I just went with following my passion and fake it till you make it and these kind of strategies. And I went for the stock market because it seemed easier. And what did I do? Within 3 months, I managed to lose every single penny I'd made. And that was when I had my moment where I decided I either go back to work or I make this internet thing work for me. And the reason I went for the internet, this is why this story is so important for you to relate to, because everybody has that tipping point moment. But the reason why I went to the internet was because I didn't have the money to go into property or into the stock market anymore. And you can start an internet business for less than $50 a month, which is incredible, but that is exactly what you can do. And that's why I started. I have no technical background. I didn't like social media. And fortunately, I now get to travel the world constantly. I've made tens of millions of dollars online. I have helped change the lives of hundreds of thousands of people, and I get to meet people that, you know, like Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, who just yesterday donated $1 billion towards the Corona relief project. We have John Asraf from The Secret, who I've toured Australia and New Zealand with. We had a chat even yesterday. I was speaking to him. We've got Robert Kiyosaki here, friends of Wind, and we've Tony, of course. Now, ladies, you've already spotted this, but just in case the guys haven't, look at the size of his hand, right? It's just incredible. It's my entire chest. But the first time I got to speak with Tony on stage, I did my best on Photoshop to make the hand just as big, but didn't quite work out as well. But here's the thing. By following the 4 steps I'm just about to show you now, I managed to go from knowing nothing about this stuff to making over $1 million in a year. $1 million in a year, with no technical background, with no business background, from a family of nothing but educators. And I want to show you how you can project yourself and propel yourself to these levels by just following these simple steps. And I always get very humbled when I see the kind of the people that I'm categorized with because of this. But of course, you can also be hidden in the background. And my big thing now is helping, empowering ordinary people to lead extraordinary lives by giving the tools to rethink differently. Helping, working with Raymond, and he's been helping me with writing books on rethink social media, rethink time management, rethink money for children and teens. So I'm helping people unlock their own inner devices, their own genius, so that they can make the most of exactly what they're here on the planet to do, right? And here's the thing, guys, I want you to think bigger level as well than just about making more money for you, because I then ended up creating a company just to teach children and teens how to become money smart, how to set up income from home themselves, how to set up business from home themselves, called Financial Freedom. And this, I've put over $500,000 into this company to get all of the education animated, so it's fun, it's great. We launched it in South Africa last May. Why South Africa? Because I wanted to give everything away for free. We ran an event to 55,000 teenagers, gave them all a copy of the book, and it was so inspiring to see the difference you can make on the world by just learning how to set up these simple systems on the internet. Right? If you can press the buttons to buy something, you can press the buttons to sell something on the internet. And these are the steps now, right? These are the key steps that you're going to need. The first step is making sure that you are in the right niche, that you're in a niche where people have a clear demand for what you have. Then once you are in an area where it's guaranteed to work, then you go to social media to find people with that problem, right? That's the second step. So first, a niche that's guaranteed to win. Second, you go to social media with a certainty around who you are looking for, right? Who exactly you are looking for. Then what we want to do is move people off of social media into our list using something called a squeeze page. What you're looking at there is a squeeze page. This item here. This is how you got on the webinar tonight. You filled out one of these, so it's not uncommon to you, but that's moving people from distractions on social media into your inbox. And then the final step is then following up with those people, offering them free information, free guides, free information ultimately that allows people, if they wish to buy something, that they can buy something, and it doesn't have to be your products. You do not need to have products or services. You can just sell other businesses, the top selling products and services on the planet, right? So let's go through these and explain, starting with niche, how you can get started immediately. The first thing is, when you're choosing your niche, stick to Zig Ziglar's advice, that you can have everything in life you want if you would just help enough other people get what they want. That is extremely profound. It's so simple, but it is so true when it comes to business. Give people what they want, keep it simple, get out of your own way, right? Or as the Dalai Lama says, our prime purpose of this life is to help others, and if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. And that is really solid advice, but ultimately what they're saying is give people what they want. And what do people want? No matter where you are in the world, these are the key things that they want. They want to be healthier, they want to be wealthier, they want to be happier. So what I want you to do is stop focusing on just specific products. Even if it's your book, it's not just about the book. It's about what does the book, how does it benefit people? What are the outcomes that they're going to get from the book? Will they be healthier? Will they be wealthier? Will they be happier? Those of you in business already, connect the products that you have to a bigger picture, to a bigger emotion. Rather than thinking about products, think about solutions, because products are finite, solutions are infinite. And if you want to have a cash flow that's finite, you focus on products. If you want to have an infinite cash flow, you focus on solutions, because solutions means as many products as are coming into the future. There's no end to businesses creating brand new products, brand new services all the time, and you could be promoting those rather than having to come up with the great ideas yourself, right? So stick to where people are spending money. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars every month in health, wealth, and happiness. The best thing about those niches, they are completely addictive. People keep coming back for more. The healthier they are, the more money they spend on health. The wealthier they are, the more money they spend on learning how to acquire more wealth. The happier they are, the more money they spend on how to become happier. There's an entire niche in that called personal development, right? So, and there will always be new products. So as long as you focus on solutions, it allows you to sell multiple products within that solution. Now we go to social media. Why do we use it? Not because we like it, but because that's where people hang out all the time. And here's the simplistic model of explaining why this is the ultimate business model that you can ever have, right? It makes total sense to get your book written to brand you, right? That makes sense, right? That you are positioned. What are the two things in life that will never change, right? This is a difficult question. We've been brought up to believe that everything in life that we know changes, right? And we've been told that so often we believe it. But that doesn't fill me with confidence if I'm going to set up a new business and I'm being told, well, everything is, you know, is going to change. Well, not in this business, and that's why I choose this business. Because the two foundation stones on which this is built will never change. They're never going to change. Now, that's a big statement to make, but let me back it up. The first one is this, right? The first one is this, is that people will always have problems. That is never going to change. People will always have problems, right? Now, I'm sure you can agree with that. People will always have problems, right? So that's the person on the left with the green jigsaw puzzle, right? They're always going to have problems. The person on the right is your business owner. What's the importance of being a business owner? 96% of business owners fail in the first 10 years. 85% of solo business owners fail in the first year, right? I'm not here to teach you how to have a 4% chance of success. I'm here to show you how to have a 99% plus chance of succeeding with your business. Traditional business doesn't work, and it's a certainty that as soon as you go into it, chances are you're going to fail. So what we're going to focus on is learning how to be the matchmaker, how to be in the middle, where you match the best products that exist, the best services that exist with the people that are looking to spend their money on it. Because that skill will last forever, right? That skill will last forever because there will always be products and there will always be people looking for them. So the moment that you start focusing on you being the center point in terms of, you know, you having to provide the product or having to provide the service, everything will change for you. Now, those of you in business already, I'm not asking you to change your model, but I am asking you to start to add additional income streams to what you're already doing, because then you, like so many people have this problem of one source of income that we're seeing currently, that will take that away completely because you'll have income coming in from all over the place. Now, before you think, but Paul, if it was that easy, everybody else would be doing it. Well, let's look at some of the biggest companies in the world, like Uber, the world's largest taxi company, doesn't own any vehicles. Facebook, the world's largest content sharer, doesn't create any content. Alibaba, the world's largest store, doesn't create any inventory, right? Or doesn't have any inventory. Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, doesn't own any accommodation, right? Booking.com, Hotels.com, Trivago.com, don't own any hotels. Amazon doesn't write a single book. eBay doesn't create a single product, right? Funnily enough, these are some of the fastest and most successful growing companies in the world, all internet-based. What about banks? What do you think banks do? Banks take money off people who are uncomfortable with it and sell it to the next person in the line and charge interest, right? They're matchmakers. This has been with us for thousands of years, but now that it's moved into a technology era, we can all take advantage of this. We just, in many cases, haven't properly understood this, okay? Haven't properly understood that we can also do this. Think about your local supermarket. What do? They build a big warehouse, they fill it full of shelves, and they put cash registers on one side of the stores, right? Then they let all the businesses fill the shelves with their products. They don't care what people buy, right? Because they are going to make a commission on every single thing. And this is the exact same thing that you can start to do from today that will be an absolute game changer for you, right? In fact, today I'm going to show you how you can save more money just from learning what you're learning with me than what you will invest to learn how to make money with me, right? Now, but remember, just in case you're getting excited, that the internet's a scam, right? Don't forget that. Now, I want you to look at this for a second to understand the difference between 1 million and 1 billion and 1 trillion. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. 1 trillion seconds is 32,800 years, right? So you can see there's a fairly dramatic difference there between 1 million and 1 trillion. Why am I sharing that with you suddenly? Because I want you to understand something. When we're looking at this matchmaking model where we're matching people with problems to the business owners who have their biggest problem is finding the people, a lot of people would say, I'm not so sure if it was that good, it would probably be, everybody would be doing it, or it's a scam, it's the internet. Well, this number here is $1.6 trillion. You want to know what that number represents? It's the US government's #1 asset. It is the outstanding student loan debt. Outstanding student loan debt in one country is $1.6 trillion. The average graduate in the US graduates with a couple of letters after their name and a loan that they owe of $37,000. The only loan you can never declare bankruptcy on is a student loan, right? You're trapped for life. The average person in America spends $600,000 on interest on debt in a lifetime. Think about this. We go into an educational system, we go into debt to get the further education, then we go into debt to get ourselves a mortgage, which stands for mortier, comes from the word mortier, meaning to die. Mortgage means debt until death. I mean, obviously mortgage is a better word when you're selling them, but debt until death, right? And we wonder why we're not ending up in a financial place that we're happy with. We look around us, everybody's doing the same thing, so we think, oh, it must be okay, but if they can afford a better house, then surely we can, and keeping up the Joneses kicks in. The system is broken, right? The scam, if we think is on the internet, we are looking completely in the wrong place. The scam is the process, it's the system, it's the education system that we're in. Now, I'm not asking you to get annoyed or angry about it, because that doesn't help. It's about being aware that anybody telling you that the wrong thing is setting up your own business and your own income streams and focusing on the internet, I can just tell you they are wrong, but I'm not there to convince them. I'm there to talk to you because you're here with me this evening, right? Because how can a newborn baby have a higher net worth than somebody that's 23 years of age? And that's not abnormal. That is the norm in 2020, that newborn babies who owe nothing to anybody, they are way better off cash flow wise than somebody who's in their 20s who's been through the educational process, right? But again, when you do it often enough, people don't see that it's an issue, and we just say that's normal, so there's no problem, right? So it's just time to kind of rethink that a little bit and think, so what can I do differently? Now, this is pre-coronavirus. Now, I'm just going to add some stats in here because this is absolutely frightening in terms of why we need to take action. $2 trillion of debt has just been added to the Next Generation's bill. They call it the rescue package, right? But that money's got to be paid back. Who do you think is going to be paying back? The next generation. In 2 weeks, right, 10 million jobs have disappeared in the US, completely shaking the foundations of the global economy. 10 million jobs gone in 2 weeks, right? 6.6 million people filed for unemployment in 1 week, 22nd to the 28th of March. The last month, when they had that high, the last week, I should say, when they had that high unemployment filing was back in 1982, when it was 695,000, right? So that's 92, 02, 12, that's 40 years ago. We think we're moving on as a society. 40 years ago, the worst week ever, 700,000. Now we have had 10 times that 40 years later in 1 week. There is clearly something going on that where most people need to learn a lesson that we can no longer rely on the outside world to provide our financial future. It's time for us to take ownership. Closer to home for me, 1 million Britons have applied for welfare payments in 1 week. Job losses in Ireland from March 20th to April 3rd was greater than the total jobs gained in 10 years of working our way out of the Celtic Tiger problems, right? 10 years of work all gone in 1 week. So what do we do about it? No more depressing talk, right? I just want to make sure you are supercharged and super focused and it's time to do something. This is how you take control. You build yourself what's called an email list, right? An email list. Now, it mightn't sound very sexy or very exciting, but believe me, it is, right? You decide how much money you want to make. Let's say you need to make an extra $5,000 a month, right? That's what you want to make. Well, no problem, right? But we stop focusing on the money, we turn it into something else. We turn it into an email list. On average, you should be making $1 per person on your list per month. $1 per person on your list per month. So if you wanted to make an extra $500 a month, your focus would be what? How many people on your list, guys? Just type it into the chat. If you wanted to make $500 a month, how many people would that be on your list? Okay, fantastic. 500. You got it, right? Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Donald. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Mona. Okay, now what if you want to make it $5,000 extra a month? How many do you put into your list? Okay, awesome. You got it. Jose, Verana, Sarah, Janice, Mona. Okay, I won't read everybody's names out, but they're all coming in at once. Okay, you get it, right? Now, do you think when you get to $5,000 a month that you're just going to say, you know what, I'm going to stop there? Of course you're not, because you're going to realize that your income is no longer capped by your hours that you work. You realize that your income is directly proportional to the amount of people you help. In fact, make sure you write that down. Your income is a direct outcome of the amount of people you help, not the hours you work. Your income is a direct outcome of the amount of people you help, not the hours that you work. So $1 per person per month. And this adds up very quickly. So look at this for a second, right? Not that you have looked away, but let's say it costs you $1 to get somebody's email address with a Facebook ad, right? Let's just say that's the assumption. That means you're going to make $1 on average per person per month with that. That's $1 spent equals $12 a year. That is a return of investment, a return on investment of 1,100% per year. Now, you can try going into a bank tomorrow and seeing will they give you that? And they'll say, no, there's a place for you. It's called the mental home, right? It's called the crazy place. Get out of here, right? So that's what I want you to understand here. The numbers are phenomenal, right? And when I start to show you the success stories, you'll start to see, I can see why that happens, because they focused on building the list and providing help to others rather than just focusing on the money, because everybody can pick on somebody that's just all about the money. So we're using social media not to make sales, not to annoy people. We're using it to move them into our database so that ultimately the money is made later from that. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense to you guys. And again, we're going through the 4-step process, and I'll do a quick reminder of that in a moment. Now, this system works for everybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. We have children as young as 11. We have people up to 85 years young that are following this system. Why? Because all they're doing is giving people what they want. It's just economics. It's just supply and demand. Runa here, he got up on stage to share that story. He had made $130,000 in 4 hours following this process. $130,000 in 4 hours, right? And where people learn this stuff is I run, and this is prior to the coronavirus time. I run 3-day workshops in London. I run them in South Africa. And usually if you go online, you'll find tickets for £5,000 or $6,000. That's when they were live and in person. And obviously none of us know when that's going to happen again, or how long it will be before that happens again. But that's not anything to get concerned about for right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later, okay? But the main thing that I do at my training that I find different to everybody else is I teach people straight away. In fact, like we get started this Monday, right? Anybody that's ready to jump on board and say, this is happening, we start on Monday and we train you in advance of the workshop so you have all of your knowledge and the business already set up. Janet here, what a great example. I'm running a bit behind here because of the technical issues, so I won't play her video. But Janet, with her first Facebook ad, spent $12, turned it into $2,100 in 12 hours. And what did she do? She panicked and she turned it off. She said, this can't be legal. It can't be legal to make that much money that fast. She literally turned off the ad, which I find very amusing. Because that was half of her salary in literally 12 hours. Alison here is a 63-year-old grandmother who had 3 grandkids in her care, was working double shifts in an off license. And basically the way she looked at this, and I really admire it, she said, Paul, I knew nothing about the internet, but the way I think of this is like a cookbook recipe book, right? Because I know all of the ingredients, but somehow when I put them together, I end up spending money. Just like if you're baking a cake and you know the ingredients, if you don't know the exact temperature and how long it should go into the oven, it goes in a mess and it goes out a mess. And she said, I was doing the same on the internet until I started to treat it like a cookbook recipe book. And Alison went on to start making over $12,000 a month from her online business. So these aren't my most successful students, but they're very inspiring to people because it makes them realize that, if they can do it, then so can you. And that was what Alison always said: if somebody else can do this, then so can I, right? And I'd like you to take a picture of this if you haven't already, but this is an overview of the 3-day program that we run, where it covers the 9 areas that we focus on to make sure that you are fully equipped to make money from social media. That's the key focus here, is how do you build all of this to build your database so that you can make money consistently over time. That's the absolutely critical thing. People teach social media every day of the week all around the world, but the focus has to be, but how does that ultimately result in me making money for your business and the bottom line, right? So again, a quick recap. First step, get in the right niche where people are already spending money and where there's hundreds of thousands of products to sell, and then you get in front of the right people. Secondly, we're going to build a database and collect their details. Thirdly, we're going to automate this. We don't want a job. We want to set something up that we can set up and monitor and keep an eye on it. And the fourth thing you need, without a shadow of a doubt, and Raymond to be one of my biggest allies on this, you need ongoing support. In anything you do, you want to succeed at in the long term, you need coaching, you need a support, you need expert. It took me 30 years on the planet to find that out, but eventually I learned that lesson. I hope you learned that lesson this evening. Now, some of the clients I work with, you've heard of it before, Johnson & Johnson, Booking.com, you know, multi-billion-dollar corporations, and I teach them the same strategies that you guys can deploy. But I wear a shirt and I wear a tie and I look more formal. But the thing is, it works regardless of you're a massive company or you're a small company. It's just a matter of you getting started and implementing this. Now, I really believe it's the most sought after business skill that you can use in the world right now. To promote you, promote your brand, promote your book, whatever that is. When I started, I was charging 30 euros, what's that? Let's say $30 an hour, $30 an hour my time. Now, my one-to-one mentoring is £85,000, which is about $100,000. And here's the thing, it's closed. I have a 20-month waiting list for my one-to-one services, not because I like turning away money. It's not. It's because as soon as money is taken care of in your life, your priorities adjust. I allow 2 days per month to be dedicated to clients. The rest I want to spend with my family. I have 2 young daughters, and these are the precious years of when they're growing up. One is 8 months, one is 3 years. So you start to appreciate that, well, I've got to a point where money isn't an issue. So then you choose very carefully what you do with your time. So you tell me, if you're not learning this, what other skill could you be learning that people will pay that knowledge to you, to learn that knowledge from you in a few years' time, right? There's very, very few out there. And let's explain, just in case you're not sure how this all works, let's explain how it all comes together, right? This is really fun. It's even more fun in a room when I can see people's reactions to this, but this is when everything will start to make sense to you. We use Google when we have a problem and we're looking for a solution. We type in things like, I want to lose weight, and what we will see are people telling us that they have a product to sell to us that will help us lose weight, websites selling us stuff. And we've become so accustomed to this, we don't even think of it as an issue. We think, yeah, that's normal, that's what Google does. But what if I could show you a magical website that instead of when you type in the name of the problem that you have, instead of it being websites selling you stuff, you actually got a list of people who have that problem. Might that be of interest to you or your business, right? Might that be of interest to you or your business? Well, I would certainly hope so, right? I would certainly hope so. And the point of this, it's free, right? This is absolutely free. It's completely dismissed by most people, right? And I'm going to show you how you can do this. And I'm going to show you with the network that you'd least expect to work for business. I teach all of the different social networks, as Raymond said earlier, but we'll start with one that most people won't believe it's even possible. You go to Twitter, you type in, I want to lose weight, and you get results like this. You get Carla here saying, I want to lose weight, short and to the point. You get Linda, I'm watching the meerkat manner. I want the same metabolism as a meerkat. They lose 5% of their body weight overnight and need to eat lots. Caitlin, I only want 2 things, to lose weight and to eat, right? The next person, I only want 2 things in life, to lose weight and to eat. These 2 people should meet up. And if you scroll down, there are hundreds more. All I want in life is to lose weight and gain money. Yet instead, here I am gaining weight and losing money. Elizabeth, I'm trying to lose weight. It's so hard. All I want is tacos, pizzas, burritos, and chips. Jennifer, I want to lose weight, but I keep eating at midnight. Yeah, Jennifer, that's not going to be good. Next person, I need to lose weight, grow out my hair, and start wearing dresses. I just want to be pretty. I want people to see me as attractive. And I love that one because it's particularly poignant, and it really points something out between the difference between normal people who spend their days on their phone watching what others are doing, rather than you who's coming over to me on the dark side and actually realizing that, holy crap, this is unbelievable. Because if you were left by yourself with your friends, and you could print this out. You'd all have a good laugh, and I understand, right? But you would use it as justification as why you don't use Twitter. You're going to say, well, that's exactly why I don't use Twitter. It's full of mental people. It's full of mental people that are sharing the fact that they need to lose weight. What kind of lunatics are they? They are the kind of lunatics that are ready to do something about a problem. If you're willing to share your problem with 250 million strangers, the chances of you being ready to do something are extremely high. Now you might think, but what use is a weight loss people to me? What use are they to me? I don't understand. I don't have products. I don't have a business in weight loss. I know you don't, but you also do know lots of companies that sell weight loss products. For example, Weight Watchers, right? You can go to Weight Watchers and sign up as a partner to them for free to promote their products to these people. You can say, hey, I'm sorry that you're feeling that way about weight loss, but did you realize Weight Watchers have a brand new program that just come out? It's supposed to be easier than all the others. And you can make money from promoting a brand that you don't own, you've got nothing to do with, but you get paid every single time somebody buys from you, right? Hopefully this is starting to change your opinion around what's possible here. Now, my question, if I was you, would be this. But have I come a bit late to this? Because Twitter has been around quite a while. Well, you're not wrong. It has been around quite a while, but you could not be starting at a better time because of one word: leverage. Tony Robbins here has 3 million followers. When you learn how to run Twitter ads, this is so good it should be illegal, right? Not only will it put your message in front of his followers, right? Your message in front of his followers. It will also allow you to put your message in front of what is called a lookalike audience, right? A lookalike audience. So people similar to Tony Robbins, right, to his kind of audience, and they have up to 45 million of those. So what you're doing with Twitter here is it invites you to, here it says website clicks or conversions. Now don't freak out because website sounds complicated. A website is a simple one-page squeeze page like you signed up to this webinar tonight. Super simple to do, can be done in 2 or 3 minutes. Or conversions, what that means is you only pay when you get somebody's email address. You only pay when you get the email address. Now, what if you were sending somebody to a sales page where they can buy something? That means you are only paying when you get a buyer. You're only paying when you get a buyer. Now, think about what that means. You only pay after you get the client. I mean, that doesn't sound like real business, right? In fact, that's what my accountant says. He said, Paul, you don't teach business, you teach magic. He said, you can actually build a business with no risk for free doing what you're doing and you get paid to acquire clients. I said, yes, exactly, right? So listen, look at this here, right? This is incredible that this is allowed. You can go and click on television targeting and target people who watch particular TV shows. You can target people based on the words that they use, like they need to lose weight, or they want to make money on the stock market, or how to write a book, or how to get your ex back, or how to have a more fulfilling relationship, whatever it is, and you can get your message in front of anybody that says that from now on. But with this one, you can choose the name of somebody's account whose followers will be perfect for you, like the example of Tony Robbins. And not only will it put it in front of his 3 million followers, it says, look, we've got 45.9 million similar people to his. Why don't you get your message in front of them? Think about this. This is, I hope for you right now, mind-blowing. You're taking advantage of the work that he has done for years. Now, you might think, but what if he found out? He would be delighted because you are making money and he is making money, right? So you, for example, the next time he does a live event, wherever it is, Toronto, London, New York, you could literally go to his site, sign up as a partner for free. They'll ask you for your bank account details. You're going to say, oh, I can't do that, stranger danger. Give your bank account details away. The only thing you can do with that is lodge money into your account. That's why they want those details, so they can lodge money into your bank account when you make a sale. So you literally would just send a link to the website, go, hey, guess who's coming to Toronto? Tony Robbins. You can put it to Tony Robbins followers in Canada. And his tickets are about $1,000 minimum, and you get paid a commission of $200 to $300 per sale, where basically now Tony is working for you, right? If your books that you're writing are similar to his kind of demographic, you can put your books in front of his people. Or even easier, you could just put Tony Robbins' book in front of his people, or put Harry Potter in front of J.K. Rowling's people, or put Richard Branson books in front of Richard Branson's people. Just give people what they want, right? And not just books, video courses, video programs, things that are more expensive. So the more expensive the product, the more money that you can make. What if your business isn't doing this, right? You're going to be left so far behind. It's not about the quality of the product anymore. Of course, that's important, but people will never get to see your product if you don't know how to market appropriately. And the beauty of all of this is you can test and get results immediately, right? So it's time to tweet, ka-ching, and actually get on board, start making money from this stuff. And can I see by a show of hands, by the way, just on what I've shown you so far, how many of you think, or just type in yes, that I just might be able to help you a little bit with your finances moving forward, right? Okay, thank you, right? I really appreciate that, because of course, right? Of course, that's why I get so excited about it. I love getting people so excited when they're lacking hope, they're really down in the depths, and they think this can't be it. There's got to be more to it, and there absolutely is, right? We've been just looking in the wrong place, right? Now, what if you just want to target wealthy people, right? Who'd be interested in just targeting wealthy people? No problem, right? You can target people based on whether they own a home or rent a home. You can target people based on what type of home they live in, the value of their home, for example. 23 million homeowners, that's in the US alone. You can do this by separate countries. You can target people based on the pets that they have, cats, dogs, lizards, horses. You can target people based on their credit worthiness, their credit history. Credit worthiness, 11.6 million people with excellent credit history. When you run out of them, there's 6.2 million very good, right? Net worth, cut straight to the chase. Net worth of 100 grand to a 1 million, 1.82 million in the US, 1 million to 2 million, another million people. Above that, another 88,000 people. You can target people based on the investments that they have. You can target people based on their discretionary spending. How much spare money do they have? You can target people based on how affluent they are. Affluent homeowners, 1.2 million. Affluent parents, oh, there must be such a thing, 3.5 million. Ladies, if you learn nothing else from this presentation, affluent single men, 700,000 plus. You can close down those Tinder accounts. No more swipe left, no more swipe right. Get straight onto Twitter and cut straight to the chase, right? Cut straight to the chase. This is what you've been missing out on. I'm going to guess that a lot of you are asking the question, but how do they know this information? And that question is just as valuable as asking, how on earth are Paul and Raymond able to speak to us from 2 different countries, in 2 different places, and 2 different time zones in the world that's locked down? It doesn't matter how it's done. The point is it's all about the question that you ask. If you ask that question, it's disempowering and it's useless to you. The question you need to ask is, how do I learn how to take advantage of this starting today? Where has this Irish guy been in my life up until now, right? This is the main point. Start taking advantage of it. Facebook, for example, I mean, I'm sure you're a lot more familiar with Facebook, but I said I'd start with Twitter just so that you can appreciate what's doable here, right? And with Facebook, I'm not going to spend time on Facebook today, but like literally you can target people by their postcode, their interests, where they live. Look at this example. Engaged shoppers, people who have clicked on the button shop now in the past 7 days, 384 million people that have clicked on the button shop now, and you can target those people, right? Absolutely incredible stuff. You can target people based on their income, right? At the top income earners in various zip codes around the US and in different countries. I just use the US as an example. Excuse me. Facebook make this so easy that even collecting people's names and email addresses from them, they don't even have to type in their emails anymore. Facebook just allowed them to click a button. The email is automatically entered by Facebook magically, and 2 clicks and that person is in your list. $1 per person per month, right, on autopilot. Just think about that. $1 per person per month on autopilot, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and hopefully you're starting to see how this is a completely different way of making money than what most people have fallen into the trap with up until now, right? This is taking ownership. That ad, by the way, is called lead generation. In case you're running ads and you haven't seen it before, it's called lead generation, right? And the ad price of ads in 2020, and this is why I'm saying you could not meet me at a better time. The price of ads in 2020 costs $1 to get started, $1 with ads. 2 weeks ago, the ad costs have plummeted. They have completely dropped compared to where they were before then, because every time a recession hits or the start of a recession hits, businesses, small businesses panic and they stop spending money in the most important places of all, in marketing and advertising. So right now there is a sale on in ads all across the internet. So you could not be meeting me at a better time, because you will not find a time, or won't have found a time in the past 3 to 5 years in which ads are going to be cheaper. So it's the perfect time to jump in, get started. And by the way, I do have my Facebook and Twitter ads course online. It's $3,997 or £299.97 plus VAT, where I go through a lot more strategies than just the ones that I spoke about with you today. Now, of course, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube, there's all these other cool social networks that we teach. But Instagram, for example, this guy's a student of mine, Jake, who made over $20,000 in a single hour from Instagram. If you're using Facebook Messenger, like over 1 billion people on the planet, Vishal, a student of mine, ended up quitting his job just like Jake. Jake was a teacher, he quit his job after he made more in an hour than he did in a year. Vishal quit his job also after doing my course. He made $55,000 in 3 hours with Messenger, right? So you either get targeted or you do the targeting. That's the clear learning here that we've got to figure out. How do you turn it around and target others, okay? And it works for absolutely everybody. This guy, Alfred, for example, sent me a message on Skype saying, hey, Paul, I just had another milestone today. I made over $200 in a day. You know, he was selling, like most people, other businesses stuff. Before the workshop, he was up to making $350 a day. That's $127,000 per year. Hands up if that might make some kind of significant difference to you in terms of taking the pressure off financially, right? Okay, great, right? Absolutely it would. Of course it would take the pressure off, right? It absolutely would. It's game-changing, life-changing money. But again, I want you to not to be as emotional around money, because your income is a direct outcome of the amount of people that you help. And as soon as you have the skills to do that, this is just going to be so normal to you that you should say, yeah, that's normal. This is how it is. And you start to associate and learn from people who are doing it, rather than those that their whole mission in life is to put people off having success and joy in their own lives. James, since November 2018, I sent him I just took this directly off WhatsApp. So I was speaking at an event with Gary Vaynerchuk and said, look, I'm speaking with Gary today, give us an update. He's made over 1.45 million pounds. That's $2 million since November 18 with his online business, right? It's absolutely incredible in terms of what's possible. And as I said, we do have these 3-day workshops that we were running live and in person in London primarily. We have a waiting list in place as well, obviously now, because we can't run them for a while. But I will talk to you about what is a potential solution that we can come up with that's going to work for everybody here. I'm going to make sure I look after Raymond's audience. This is the first time I've ever spoken to Raymond's audience in all the years that I know him. So I'm super excited about this, and I'm going to make sure that you guys are going to be able to learn this for less than what you spend on a cup of coffee, right, on a single day. So I'm going to make this absolutely incredible for you, right? Now, when it comes to building your database, when it comes to doing that side of things, this is just the technical side of it. None of it's difficult. We show you step by step how to build out your list, how to create. In fact, what we do is we build this for you. We build the squeeze page. You don't have to do that. We make sure we take away all technical challenges from you. And then we get to the point of, how do we make money from this? And that's the big question that people have, is how do I know what people want? How do I know what people are going to fight and jump all over each other to get their hands on, right? How do we set that up and automate it? Well, I'll give you some hints already, but let me give you some more examples. Anything that is on Amazon right now, you can sell and make money from it. Anything that's on there. Anything on eBay, you can be making money from it. The world's best training courses, you can promote the likes of Raymond, for example, and other experts, that their courses are already there and you can make them work for you, right? He gets paid, you get paid, everybody wins. Later, you can create your own also. I mean, there's a whole series of you that are launching books and have books out there, and then you can back it up with online courses, online programs, and use the missing element you may have had is you've got the best expertise, the best message to get out there, but you maybe haven't just fully figured out how do you utilize social media in the best possible way to announce your arrival to the planet. As I promised you earlier, you will save more money than you'll invest in me today by just changing your behaviors. Every time you buy something online, you should be making money. Every holiday you book, you should be making money. Any cruise trip that you book, you should be making money. I remember the last cruise I booked for my family, I got an email saying, congratulations, you just sold 4 tickets to a cruise ship. I said, I wonder who that is. There's my spending money for the cruise ship, right? So it's just a different way of thinking. Every time you're spending, you should be making money because it is the same process. And then there's something called high ticket products, where you can promote products that are worth a lot more money, where you could make $600 a sale or $1,800 a sale or even $4,000 a sale. That's $6,400 from getting one single email. You might think, Paul, how does that work? Really simply. You choose products where people have higher level coachings available so that you get a commission on what they're selling. So it looks as simple as this. There's a video, there's a link, you just click on it. We ask you for your bank details or your home address so we can send you a check if you prefer checks. And all you do is promote somebody else's products. And in an ideal world, you'll promote products that you've already tested yourself, obviously, so you can stand over and you feel great about doing it and you feel in integrity promoting it. And that's how it works. So you look for the best products that are out there that people are already looking for, and you can then make money from that. So let me show you how I start my morning. Rather than going in and looking at other people's social media, as so many people do, I have quite a different routine. I start by checking how many sales we make overnight, which is, I find, a lot more uplifting first thing in the morning, even than meditation, I find. So each of these where you'll see, for example, £236.40, which is an unusual number. This is £197 plus VAT. That's why it's 236.40. Each one you see here is a sale of a product, 236.40, 236.40, 236.40, 236.40. And some you will see that I'm paying a commission to somebody else who promoted it, right? So all of these are 236.40, 236.40, 236.40, 236.40, 236.40, 236.40, 236.40. Let's just say 200. It's easier to say 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. Then 116 payment plan, 116 payment plan, 236, 116, $58, another test. Then next page, $58, then $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997. You never get tired of saying $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997, $997. That was all in one night. Hands up if you think you would give up coffee to put a spring in your step in the morning if this was the first thing that you were looking at, right? This is what people don't understand. Social media is smoke and mirrors, right? It's just a distraction. Behind the scenes, there are people that totally get this and they understand it's a numbers game. How much does it cost me to get somebody's contact details, and how do I maximize the money that I make over and over again by providing the best possible value to people by just giving them what they want. But remember, the internet is a systemized cash accumulation machine. Maybe people were right all around. So anytime you hear that anymore, that's your answer for yourself. It's a systemized cash accumulation machine. I can tell you more than ever, we need these in our lives, right? Because we can literally have, I've just seen some of the comments in here from Val, I'm speechless, she said. And that's why every time I look at this, I am so freaking excited about it. People sometimes ask me, why do you bother teaching this stuff if you can just do all of this? Because it is so empowering and exciting and fulfilling to show people there is not just hope, there is a practical step-by-step guide that you can follow to go from the life I lived, full of cynicism, full of skepticism, full of debt and scarcity, to abundance and affluence and traveling and getting around the world, and it being such a novelty to sitting at home and not being flying around the world, because this is what inspires me. It's what allows me to get up in the morning and fill me full of joy. It's what allows me to help children, hundreds of thousands of them all over the world, not repeat the same mistakes that we made. But the key thing we need, that you and I and Raymond need, all of us have in common, we need support. We need to be followed up on. We need people to help us to hold our hand through this process, because you don't have confidence right now because you've never done this before. And you never do anything and remain doing something unless you're good at it. So that only happens with practice. So what you need to begin with is just simply make a commitment that I am going to do this until it works. I am going to do this until I match my salary. I know I don't know how to do this, but that's not my job. That's My job to show you that. All you got to do is commit that you're going to stick with this until it works, and then there's going to be no stopping you, right? We're very much like this child who was handed a book and told to read without given the alphabet, without being taught words, without being given back feedback. But most of us are set loose into the world saying, right, you're done with education, now off you go, and good luck in trying to get rich, right? That's how we were expected to make a living. It's not your fault. I want you to understand that. The report card that you have today, the amount of debt that you may be in today, right, that's okay, right? That's okay, but that is the report card of the educational system that we have. What you are earning today is a direct result of what you know now, and everybody you know and everybody you've ever met. But what you learn after today will get you the results that you want from now on. And that's why I said, take a picture. Use this as your tipping point moment where you say, no more looking backwards, no more excuses. Nobody should even be thinking about what's come before this time. This is going to be a moment in time where it will be pre-coronavirus and after coronavirus. Literally, it will be it's going to be that much of a marker in humanity because things are going to change dramatically. And you either move fast and jump the gun, or you complain and you get dragged back and you look at your historical failures that you may or may not have had. You may not have had the time, for example, or you just didn't have the priorities. But now I'm pointing out to you that this is this moment that we have to make a change, right? The secret to success in any area in life, whether it be sport or whether it be in business, right? It's getting a coach. You need to be shown how. You need to climb on the shoulders of giants and just copy exactly what we do. That is exactly the key formula. Read any of the autobiographies of the most successful people in the world. They all start off by thanking their coaches, thanking their mentors. That for me is the biggest difference between people struggling with money who use their time to purchase money versus wealthy people who use their money to purchase time. I am going to say that again because you may have missed the message. People that are stuck with money, they're broke most of the time, use their time to purchase money. The people that are wealthy use their money to purchase time. How do you purchase time? You pay for shortcuts. You learn from somebody else's experience. We need to get this information quickly. We need to focus on it quickly. And this is how I can help you, right? Normally we run coaching and mentoring programs and we run workshops in London, right? The coaching and the mentoring, that isn't the problem. That can all be run virtually. But we'll figure out what we can do around the coaching challenge or the workshop challenge in just a moment, right? Now, a couple more success stories, and then I'm going to wrap up here. So you've seen the 3-day workshop, you know what's involved, you took a picture of it just a few moments ago, the 9 areas that we'll focus on to make you successful regardless of where you are. Now, I'm going to tell you right now before people get panicky and trying to jump in and join the program, any of you that invest in full today, I am going to give you my Mindset Mastery training completely for free. It's online for $2,000. You are going to get that completely for free today when you decide to invest in full. Okay, just to be aware of that. Now, Luke, another great example. Good eye, Paul, who's Australian. As you know, I just started 5 months ago. I've been rigidly sticking to the actions that you gave me. I earned $7,000 last week. It's going to be over $8,000 for the first time next week. Who would have thought this was possible just a few months ago? And I love this line. I've already paid my parents back. They think I am selling drugs, LOL, right? Of course they would, because these results aren't normal, right? For most people in society. Then he sent me a message on Facebook. Hey, brother, record week last week, just over $26,000. You can see he's getting more and more excited. He says, amazing, right? I said, congratulations. That was more than what he made in a year as a part-time school teacher. Then he sent me an email a couple of years back saying, how's it going there? I hope all is well with your little one. I had my biggest sales, so you know as well. I just made over $100,000 worth of sales in a day, loving the journey. Look how the emotions has been removed from this, right? He gets it. His income is a direct outcome of the amount of people that he helped. Ironically, the reason why he sent the email, in case you think that this guy is technical, was he wanted to know how to add an attachment to an email. He didn't know how to do that. So believe me, you do not have to be technical to know how to do this stuff. We had a call on WhatsApp a few weeks back. His results are in from last year, $2.3 million. But this guy, he told me subsequently, slept in a camper van outside of the workshop that he came to see me in Australia, right? I didn't realize he was at that level of low, right? So last year, $2.3 million. This is the only business that I know that the more you learn, the more you earn, the easier it gets, the better it gets, the more opportunities you have. But this for me is way more inspiring. Rather than 2.3 million with Luke, this 13-year-old came to the workshop with his dad. The babysitter cancelled on them, and he said, is there any chance my son doesn't walk the streets of London alone? I said, yeah, it's okay, bring him in. He gave him the iPad, the father, and said, right, so what you need to do now is just stay quiet and play your games, okay? Play your games. Salman was glued to what I said, put up his hand and said, can I share something? I said, yeah, please do. So he said, I just made £150, which is about $210 in 11 minutes. Every adult in the room had the same look on their face, and it was this: you little shit. How dare you prove to us that this stuff actually works? He said, what did you do? He said, I did what he said. I'm like, right? As adults, right? Some of you, there's one comment in there already saying, I'd love to do this, but I don't have the money. I haven't even said how much it is, right? So think about it. It's belief systems that's holding you back. It's not the technical ability, it's your history, right? But you know what the good news about history is? It's over. It's over. The books are written. It's time to live in the present, right? The history is over. It's now about writing the history that people will read about tomorrow, and the history is always written by the winners. Right? And we love nothing better than a rebound story. The people that were down and out, and they turn it around, and they're going to make this 2020. Think about it, 2020 vision. Everything about this year is set up for success. This guy, 11 years of age, his dad is my hero. I thought he was 5. Being honest, he looked like a 5-year-old. And the father came to the workshop, and he was kind of pushing him in the door. I said, this isn't a creche. I don't know what you think this is. It's not like a child minding service. He said, no. This is my child, but this is my pension plan. I said, I don't care if it's your pension plan, you're going to need to sit beside your pension plan for the next few days. The dad put earplugs in his ears, didn't even listen to a word I said. The 11-year-old won a bottle of wine. He won the competition that we run, sold it to the person next to him, and I've had to stop giving away alcohol as prizes because the kids outperformed their parents every time. Stop even worrying about outsourcing. The new outsourcing is insourcing. Use the liabilities in your house called your little children and turn them into assets, right? Let them do this with you, because this is so simple. It's pressing buttons in order. They already know how to do it. Kiane, though, 13 years of age, he has the new record, $13,000 in 2 days at the workshop, right? Incredible stuff. This is child's play, right? They don't have all these stories holding them back. They just say, yeah, let's get on with it. So that's why I'm just making a note of the comment that came in there, because you've already given up before you started, right? But that's typical. That's what we're like as adults. The longer you wait to learn how to drive, the more difficult it becomes. Why? It's not because driving got any harder. It's because the older you get, the more you care what other people think. You're worried about the people behind you who are going a bit slower, even though they don't know who you are. You're worried about hitting strangers on either side, right? If your kid happened to be in the other room right now and you left the keys there, they're probably gone and they figured out how to drive on the way, right? So we need to go back to that childhood spirit of not worrying about failing. Success and failure are not opposites. Failure is a prerequisite to success. You cannot succeed without having multiple failures. It's not a negative, it's a positive. You've just figured out another way that doesn't work properly, right? So we're going to completely change the way you look at this. We're going to change the next generation, right? We talked about this, the financial freedom stuff. But the question you need to ask yourself is, am I committed? Am I stop making excuses? I'm just going to focus on making this work for me. And I'm going to share with you right now how I can help you over the coming weeks and months ahead, when we're all locked down, right, to completely change your financial destiny forever. You will never, I genuinely believe this, you will never have a space of time again in the rest of your life when suddenly the world pressed the button pause. And we're spending our days watching the media doing number counts. Please change the numbers you're looking at to your numbers on your social media, to the numbers in your bank account. Focus on what you can control, not on the things that cause depression, that disempower you and don't make you feel good about yourself. Let's switch this around. Let's turn this negative into a massive positive. And here is your personal invite to come work with me. And I'm going to share with you something here that's completely irresistible. But I want you to know I'm going to give you way more than you need. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by the mere facts that I'm going to give you so much stuff here included in this. It's just so that you never need to spend a single penny on learning how to do online marketing, right? You're going to have everything you need in here, okay? You're going to have everything you need in here. So let's look at how I'm going to help you. The first thing is this. We're starting, as I said, on Monday, 12:30 Eastern time, with me live. It will be recorded. I know you're going to be at home anyway, right? So it doesn't matter, right? We're all on lockdown. So even if you can't make it live, it will be recorded, right? But pretty much the chances are you're probably going to be on lockdown like the rest of us. I will be doing it personally. This is going to do a quick recap of what we talked about tonight, but it's going to give you your login, show you how to get your login details, how to access the training. And 4 more of these web classes will be drip fed to you over the coming weeks. Okay, that's and I'm going to put up the value of these as we go as well. But that's the first thing. We start on Monday, 12:30. Keep your enthusiasm at the level it is now. Get you through Easter. I'll get Easter out of the way, and then boom, Monday, brand new you starts. Total value 997. Number 2, the workshop itself. This is the most valuable thing that I've probably ever given away on a webinar, and I couldn't do it before because always my point was, let's get you into a room, right? Let's get you into a room, but I can't do that anymore. So what I've decided to do is this. You're going to be able to experience it from the comfort of your own home. I am going to give you access to the 3-day recordings that we just shot. So you're going to get access to the last workshop that I did, all of it, step by step, watch it from home. The advantage of that, of course, is you can watch it over and over again, okay? So you can learn everything without leaving the home. So you go through the training, then you still get the workshop all from home. So we change the uncertainty around when this is going to happen to you have absolute certainty you are going to get it from the comfort of your own home. Okay, so number 3 then is we will build this page for you, the squeeze page, in case you have technical challenges. And we'll show you how to do it as well, but we will build it for you if you need help with that, because I don't want anybody not doing this because you think you're technically not savvy. That just isn't good enough anymore. We have to still overcome those challenges. By the way, the average age of my students is 52 years of age, right? They mostly don't have Facebook accounts, right? They're starting from scratch. So don't feel overwhelmed, or don't feel like this is for somebody in their 20s or anything like that. This is, I guarantee you will absolutely love this, and you can do this. And I'm going to take away all your risk from you as well before we finish up. There's going to be 0 risk here today. Number 4, my help center. The thing I'm most proud of in our business has a 97% customer satisfaction rating. That just shows how much time and effort we put into keeping people happy, keeping our clients happy, and getting them the results they want. That's a total value of 2997. They've all been through the program. They can answer any questions that you have, and if they can't, they're passed up to me. Number 5, the training itself. It's all going to be delivered by a membership site. You have lifetime access to the trainings. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, the other social networks, how to build your list, how to find the best-selling products, how to rank videos on YouTube. And most importantly, I have a video in there on outsourcing, a training that will show you how you can find somebody else to do this for you, okay? So once you've got it done, that somebody else can do this for you. Number 6, the Facebook and Twitter ads training, which is online for $3497. I am going to include this in the membership site also, right? So you do not need to purchase this separately. Hopefully you haven't gone onto the internet during the webinar to buy it. It's going to be included as part of this. In fact, if you have, just let me know and we'll give you that money back, because I want you to get it as part of this package and as part of what we're doing with Raymond here this evening. So that's all of our strategies on Facebook and Twitter ads. Number 7, if you've ever thought about doing a webinar, something like what Raymond and I are doing right now, I'm an expert at teaching how to do this because I've been speaking on stages for 10 years and I know how to translate it onto the internet. And this is when you can make crazy money. This is one of my students who made $300,000 in 90 minutes, then $500,000 in 90 minutes, then $100,000 in 90 minutes. He made $900,000 in 6 hours, right? The average person in the UK spends $1,200 on lottery tickets per year. It's the same in the US, about $1,500 on lottery tickets. It's higher in Singapore, it's $4,000 per family per year on lottery tickets. To what? To have the big windfall. And what happens then? You lose the money. The difference, the only difference between a dream and a goal is a plan. Why stop dreaming? And why not start planning to get a goal here that you can leave nothing to chance, nothing to hope, that we're actually going to sit down, put this together, press the buttons in the right order and make this happen for you, right? And even if you never want to be on a webinar yourself, you can invite the likes of Raymond on, you can invite the likes of me on when you get good at this and you know how to bring us on. If we have the right content for your audience, we can do this for you, right? It's just such a no-brainer, especially in today's environment when businesses have physically shut down, the doors are closed. They still have databases, they still have solutions, but they do not know how to connect the two together, and that could be something you do. Now, webinar courses cost about $5,000. I am going to include this because of what's going on right now, as part of the program completely for free, right? You can't get this on the internet. I'm going to include this in there also. So this allows you to get to tens of thousands of dollars in a single day, but you've got to follow the steps, right? That's the key thing, like anything. Number 8, this is how certain I am in my own program. We are going to run personal calls with you, live personal calls with me and some of my head coaches to show you how to make up to $4,000 from a single sale. We'll actually do just 2 or 3 personal phone calls. Let's say 3 personal phone calls with you to answer all of your questions. We'll hold your hand through the process. We'll make sure any technical questions you have are answered. And this is outside of the help you get from our help center team. Right, remember what I said, I'm going to be giving you a lot of stuff here. You don't need to understand it all, but I just want you to appreciate. I want to give you more than you will ever need, that you feel confident in, okay, I got everything here. I got this asset sitting there on my computer that I can just tip away at every day and build up my own financial success. And for your next generation, I have very exciting news about this, Raymond. I have been talking about this for about 3 years, this 3.5 hour online program for children and teens. This is on this Saturday. It's on this Saturday live. I'm doing this Saturday live. So anybody that joins tonight, even before the webinar on Monday, which is the official welcome, when you join tonight, you will get the link to come onto this live this Saturday with your child and teen. So that's just like a bonus that I cannot repeat, because literally it is on the 11th of April and today is the 9th, right? So this is going to show them how to become financially smart, how money works. We'll show them how to set up at least one type of business. We'll give them this playbook, a step-by-step guide, how they can be making money within 30 days. We'll show them how to get into the animated training. They're going to absolutely love this, right? And you can share this with your other family members too. Highly conservative value of $997. This is generation changing. This can change your family's dynamics forever. And as I said, why not have them do this business for you also? So here's a summary of everything you're going to get. A ticket to the online workshop. You're going to get the live webinar coaching session starting on Monday, and 4 more drip fed to you. The opt-in page created for you, and we'll also show you how to do that. Support from our help center team. VIP access to all of the training, the webinar wizardry training, which is worth more than your entire investment just with that alone, your Facebook and Twitter ads training, personal coaching calls where your questions will be answered from my coach and myself, half-day young adult training this Saturday, right? Now that's a total value of, I have to move the camera to see, I think it's 27 or it's $37,000, 27 pounds. Now, look, total value is irrelevant. I remember sitting in the event in Dublin in 2009, and one speaker said, total value, $2 million. And I remember thinking, well, then why don't you just sell one and take a couple of years off, right? Total value is, for me, what somebody has actually invested in this program. But when this program was launched with a 2-day workshop, it was, sorry, let me just get my clicker working here. It was $9,497 plus $127 monthly. Now, we're not going to be looking for anything like that this evening, right? I'm doing an extremely special deal for Raymond. I'm so grateful he's given me this opportunity to come speak to you guys, right? Budding authors, published authors, about to be launched authors, and some of you that may have no interest in writing books, irrelevant. We can all make money together in this environment. So instead of it being $9,497, I'm going to do something crazy for you this evening. It's not going to be 20% off, not 40% off, not even 60% off, which would be $4,000. Not even 70% off, not even 85% off. I'm going to give you over 90% off. Everything I talked about is going to be for just $997. Now, wait for it. Wait for it. Here is the link. Offerfromraymond.com. Raymond is going to type it into the chat. Offerfromraymond.com/social media. No www, just straight in, just type offerfromraymond.com/social media. When you pay in full, you're going to get my mindset mastery. But here is an incredible promise to you right now. If you get in there right now and you pay in full, right, here's your link. Offerfromraymond.com/social media. I'm going to have that on every slide now. Okay, the link is up there. Perfect. So you can click on the link. Right. Firstly, when you get in there right now and you pay in full, this is what it's going to look like. This is the pound version. You're getting it without the VAT, you're getting it without the pounds, you're getting it in dollars, right? $997 or 2 payments, right? So here is the link, Raymond.com, offerfromraymond.com/social media. Anybody that gets in now is going to get, listen carefully, a free one-to-one call with me. Yes, personal call with me. I will review your current business. I can review your current brand around your book. I can review whatever you're going to set up with this new business. We'll set it up with my help center. Yes, if you pay in full right now, not only do you get the mindset mastery, you are going to get a free, you know what, let's make it 2 calls. You're going to get 2 calls with me. So you can use one for your current business and one for your new business. Let's just make this an absolute no-brainer for you, okay? Offer from, I'm seeing quite comments, people saying they can't get in. It's okay, just refresh. There's a lot of people trying to get in here at the same time. So offerfromraymond.com/social media. Just be careful in typing it in there. I'm going to extend your support for an entire year. You're going to have 12 months of support, okay? This is before 9 o'clock UK time. That's, I think, 4 o'clock Eastern time right now, okay? This is what the page is going to look like when you get in there, right? So just so you're aware. Bonus number 3. I am going to, now listen carefully to this, as Raymond would say, wow, I am going to allow a second person, a business partner or a family member, do all of this training with you. So you are getting a 2-for-1 deal here, right? Raymond will know I don't offer this on stage, right? You're going to get 2 for 1. 2 of you can watch all of the training. 2 of you, I know, can come to the 3-day or can watch the recording. Plus, Raymond, wait for it, I'm going to run a 1.5-day live virtual summit. So not only will they get the recordings, I know you didn't know that was coming, I'm going to include a 1.5-day virtual summit so that we have this together so I can answer all of your questions live, and you get the 3-day recordings, and there's 2 of you doing this. So you're going to have another person who won't think you're crazy, but will be super grateful to you, right? So we'll talk about on Monday about getting their details, etc., etc. But again, the same link, right? The same link, just click on it, be patient, get in there. Thank you, Raymond, you got in, excellent. Okay, and again, as I said, the virtual event and the recordings for you. I literally just made this slide tonight. That's why there's London in the background, because it's not London, it's virtual. Wherever you are going to be able to get this. That's what the page looks like. Bonus number 4, Instagram training on how Jake made $20,000 plus. Facebook Messenger training on how Vishal made 55,000 in 3 hours. Again, I'm just giving you all of this so you have everything and more, that this is completely irresistible. And I'm going to take away all the risk, right? I'm going to take away all your risk from you right now, right? I would like to show you how you can make your investment back as quickly as possible. We all know that people are struggling all over the world right now, okay? So I'm going to show you, this is your first money back guarantee. If you recommend 2 people to my team, I'll show you how to do this on Monday. You just recommend 2 people to my team. We will offer them the same offer as you, but for $1,997, because that is the cheapest you will ever get this outside of this environment with Raymond. And we will make 2 sales for you. We'll do all the selling. And as soon as that happens, and of which there's no time limit on this, I will personally wire you your money back. Why would I do that? Because I want to teach you the value of matchmaking. Stop working so hard. Let me do this for you. Let me show you how you can promote somebody else's product and still get paid. And believe me, it's the kind of money that you prefer the most, because once you make that kind of money, you have nothing to deliver on, right? So there's no time limit on that, 100% money back guarantee. They'll get it for $1,997. You will get all of your money back today. As Warren Buffett says, investing in yourself is the most important investment you'll ever make in your life. And he wasn't selling a program at the time. He was just sharing his facts as the #1 world's most famous and most successful investor. How many of you can afford $1.19 per day for a year, right? That's what it's going to be between the 2 of you, to learn how to be financially free forever. This is what we're talking about. Pay yourself forward, right? Pay yourself forward, right? You are learning a skill set that will last forever, the skills of matchmaking, plus how to brand yourself, how to make yourself stand out from others, right? And of course, if you own a business, which either you do or you're about to own, this is a write-off against your company, right? You will be paying this with your company, right? As you should do with your Facebook ads or any ads that should be ran through your company. So come on, come up with that extra $1 a day, right? And just spend it less on something else. It's going to disappear on you. You'll never even notice it going, right? Pay yourself forward. You will never get a deal as good as this, like literally $997. And I'm going to give you a second money back guarantee, because I'm going to just completely take away the risk, right? If you change your mind in the next week, and for whatever reason, and here's the thing, there's no reason why I would want your money if you're not going to follow the program. I can only become more successful by having more successful clients like you. Nobody buys my program because it worked for me. They buy my program because it works for you, it works for Alison, it works for people who you would not expect to work. So if you change your mind in 7 days, you'll already have started. You'll have had access to the children's training for 3.5 hours on Saturday. You're going to have access to the live webcast with me on Monday. You'll have all of this. And I'm going to give you my blogging training for free. And I'm still going to give you 2 personal coaching calls completely free. And that's if you change your mind. Now, I would only do that if I knew how confident I am in how much you are going to love this system. So you literally have no risk whatsoever in doing this. The risk is in not doing it. But please don't be somebody 2 years from now thinking about, God, I remember back in the coronavirus and I wasn't sure, should I do this stuff and should I learn this? Most people only recognize an opportunity after it's passed. And right now, everybody is in crisis, lockdown mode, where all they're thinking about is contraction and how can I save money and how can I, right, rather than expansion and growth and using this opportunity to give yourself a reset and to get to a point where you are so proud that this was the moment when you took this picture tonight that things turned around for you. And me and Raymond are here to facilitate this and make this happen for you, okay? So it's offerfromraymond.com/social media. I see there's a few people asking, are there payment plans? Yes, you can pay for 2 payments of $600, which you'll see when you get in there. So here is a summary of everything, Raymond, on one page, on exactly 9 p.m. Look at that. There's a professional, Raymond, right on time. The final slide, everything you need. The one thing I want to remind you here is you're going to get a one-to-one, 2 personal calls with me if you pay in full today. 2 personal one-to-one calls with me to review. No expiry. You can use them whenever you want. And you get my Mindset Mastery completely for free. I want to make this a complete no-brainer for you, that it's absolutely irresistible to you. And even if you change your mind, you can have your money back and still get the coaching, still get the blogging, still get the kids training for your teams this weekend if you don't know what to do with them on Saturday, still get the blogging training, still get the coaching calls, because I was you. This is what's unique about me. I was you. What do I mean by that? I was the person sitting in the audience, unbelievably unsure about why I was even there. And suddenly these people were talking crazy about these crazy numbers and about how they were making millions and how this all seemed really strange, that people run to the back. But you know what? It was the best decision I made in my whole life. And you already know, if you like my style, I don't always go this fast. When I'm up against a deadline, I have to finish exactly on time. But you already, if you know my style, I'm really good at taking what's perceived as technically difficult and simplifying it, because I'm the product of 2 teachers. But I'm all about rethinking education. I want you to learn things that is going to put money in your bank account, not letters after your name. I want to give you a real reason to graduate, and let your report card be your net worth rather than how much money we're in debt. Let's switch things around. Let's rethink all of this. Thank you so much, Raymond. And what I'll do, Raymond, I'm going to leave this open a little while. I can see lots of people are saying they can't get in. I don't think it's caps, what you say, that it matters if you've got small caps or large caps. I think if you just type it, offerfromraymond.com/social media, it'll work. Don't put www in front of it. I know that doesn't work. You just type it in as it is, offerfromraymond.com/social media. We'll leave it open for another few minutes, Raymond, to give people a chance if you want to ask me any questions.
Yeah, don't go away. You were amazing. Okay. I love Irish accents now. I've seen you.
Somebody asked me to slow down in the chat earlier.
Yeah, but I love that you went fast. So listen, I've seen you before me or after me on many stages around the world, but this is the best offer you've ever made. And I'm in. I'm going to be sitting in front of you beside my clients. I'm in. I've never heard of anything.
Thank you, Raymond.
I've been at lots of internet summits. I've heard a lot of internet speakers. This is the best program I've ever seen. Your no risk money back guarantee is unbelievable, that you'll give them all this coaching and then they can have their money back. It's insane. No one offers that. And you could only do it because you know your system really works. And I want to do it. I make money. I make lots of money in real estate. I make lots of money as a professional speaker. I make lots of money in webinars. I make lots of money in lots of ways, but I personally don't know how to make money on the internet. My internet techie guys know how to do it, but I don't, and I want to.
Yeah, and please bring Wendy as your guest. Wendy deserves to be there with you.
You like Wendy, I can tell.
I love Wendy's been so good to me, yeah, over the years.
She's good to everybody. She's so wonderful. So I will be there. Count me in. I'm going to be sitting right
Great.
beside my clients, learning like crazy from you. I love it. You are a master.
Well, thank you. And anybody, guys, that's got questions, right? Whatever they are, I'm open book, right? Whatever it is, ask me right now. This is your opportunity. I mean, I know a lot of you are struggling to get in. Actually, Raymond, if they can't get in, can we give Mike's email address just in case? I think it's Mikey, M-I-K-E-E.
No, don't make it up, don't, please.
Okay, I'll say no.
M Patel.
Just in case.
M Patel at Aaron.com. Can you type that onto your slide? M as in mother. M Patel at Aaron.
Oh, it's in there right now. It's in the chat. Okay, perfect. Let me put it up. Yep. I'll do that. That should be within my technical abilities. Let's see.
There's lots of people who are saying they got in and they paid already.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure. You mean you're just honestly, if you're not joining with this, there is really little hope for what I can do. Because I'm making this as irresistible as is possible for anybody, right? So your circumstances have aligned well for you that you're going to get things at the rate they're going at here today. But here it is. Let me pop this up for you. And don't miss those opportunities when they show up. It's rare when they happen. As Raymond says, we've been talking together for 10 years and you haven't seen anything like this, right? But at the end of the day, I'm at home. It's not costing me anything to help people from my back garden. Okay. So there it is, mpatel@aaron.com. Okay. That's if you can't get through, email with your phone number, email with your details so we can reach out to you today and get this booked in, right? If you get in today, I will extend make sure you pay in full. You will get the one-to-ones with me also, okay? And you'll get the mindset mastery.
This is only if you're having trouble getting in, or if you have you have some special requirement, something like that, like maybe you're getting a big commission check tomorrow or something, then just contact mpatel@aaron.com. Otherwise, go to offerfromraymond.com/social media. Don't put www. I have no idea why. Just start with the O, offerfromraymond.com. Any problems? Is this forward or backwards, Paul?
That's correct, yeah. That looks good. Yeah.
Forwards, okay, good.
And I actually have the page here now. I have it open, so I'll just share that with you for a second. Okay, so this is exactly what you're going to see. Okay. Right, so 3-day live. Okay, brilliant. They've added in the virtual summit. Thank you. Okay, so you've got your two options here. But honestly, I mean, it makes total sense to go for the one at full because you get 2 calls with me. My consulting rate per day is £10,000 and you're going to be getting 2 calls, right? So and we'll get that all organized. We'll tell you how all of that works. So just click on this, okay, and enter your details. And you'll hear from my team tomorrow, which will give you the link to Saturday's training for your teens and kids. And you please sit in on it too. It's not just for them, it's for you also, okay? And then we'll also get you started on Monday and get you going on that as well, okay?
Some
here it is.
people in the chat are saying, yay, I got in, and other people are saying I can't get in. So offerfromraymond.com/social media, please spell it correctly, no W's. And if you're still having trouble, just email my chief financial officer, mpatel@aaron.com, and then he'll respond to you immediately.
Sure. Keep trying for a while though. Keep trying for a while before you do that, because it is more than likely it's because of too many people trying to get in at the same time.
Yeah, it's
so Okay. Anyway, let me see if there's any more questions, guys. Please feel free to type them in. Oh, Edita, you just got in. Well done. Great stuff. Thank you, Avery. Brilliant. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Mitzi. Thank you, Diana. Okay, Diana says, Paul, I'm a bit confused about the live virtual summit from home with me and the live webinar coaching sessions. Okay, no problem, Diana. Thank you for asking. So we start live on Monday, right? We start live on Monday, where I will show you how the program works, when you're going to get your login details, how the membership site, actually, I could even go in there and show you a little bit of that in a moment. And then you're going to be given drip-fed trainings over the coming weeks, and then you have access to the 3-day workshops. You watch the 3-day workshop from home. Then after all of that, I am then going to follow that up with a virtual summit, a live virtual summit. The date is yet to be announced, where we bring you all back together again. and do a day and a half of intensive training online with you. So you'll have had the 3 days, and we have another day and a half post that with you. So I mean, you know, everything you need and much, much more besides, as I've said more than once. Great question, Diana. Thank you for allowing me to explain that in detail. I'll just see, Raymond, if I can log into the membership site so just people get a feel for this, to make it very real for them. Okay, so just logging in here now. If you have any questions, again, as I say, please feel free to ask. That's what this is all about. Okay. Now, so this is how this is going to look for you guys. Okay. I know you can't see it yet. I'm just going to share it now. Okay. So this is what you'll be getting access to on Tuesday, right? So you get login details for this membership site, right? We'll have the recording of the Monday webinar in here. Then we'll be drip feeding 4 more for you, web classes in here. So you just literally click on the button on the left, and this opens up the trainings. And I'll just play one of the videos here so you get a feel for what it looks like.
Paul, I'm not hearing any audio.
Yeah, that's no problem. I don't expect you to. So so you can just see it there, right? So, and then you've got downloads of the videos, and then on the left-hand side, we'll be giving you access to your mindset training, to how to set up your blogging, and they're all short little 10, 12-minute videos, step by step, how to follow. You click on the little icon to go to full screen. You just pause, you just implement. It's all really, really simple to follow. So we say here, look, blogging, how to create your free gifts, Facebook, Twitter, how to create your opt-in pages, Facebook ads, recordings of the workshops. It's all really, really simple to follow. Really, you know, you're going to absolutely love this. Really straightforward ABC style training.
Paul, I want to answer a question. Lots of people are saying, what currency? US dollar.
US dollars, you lucky ducks, yes.
US dollar. It's amazing.
Yep. Okay, let's see, anything else? Oh, thank you, Pauline, got you. What platform do I use for email, Dana? I use multiple. I use Aweber, I use ConvertKit, I use Infusionsoft, I use ActiveCampaign, I use GetResponse, I use MailChimp. We use 6 different autoresponders because I test them all for my students rather than them having to do it. So it depends on what level your business is at as to which one I would recommend, okay? Let's see. Can you go over more deep about the beginning sessions? Rachel, or Rochelle, I would say that is. Can you go over in a bit more detail about the beginning sessions? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, so we start on Monday, Dana. Monday, 1:30 Eastern time. The link will be emailed to you tomorrow. And on that, I will do a quick recap of what we talked about today, how you're going to get login details to the training site, and how we get started straight away and get you going, okay? Thank you. VJ asking me politely, can I answer the question you asked me already? Let me have a look, VJ. I missed it. VJ, social media is very dynamic and constantly evolving with changes. Absolutely, you are correct. And that's the biggest advantage of learning it, because people that try and figure it out from YouTube, what they're doing is they are learning out of date information, right? So that's the point of learning it now with our videos, which are constantly updated, so that you have access to this, right? So that you can learn from what's working from us today. And I have my own internal team, I pay external teams. We're constantly checking what's working for ads, what funnels are working, what's converting, to make things as easy as possible for you, right? Thank you. How long does it take to go over the 3 days? workshop. Richard, I'm going to give you a clue. 3 days. 3 days. It takes 3 days to watch the 3 days workshop. If you're going to watch it from 9 to 6. If you're going to binge it like a Netflix and you want to watch it all through the night, you could probably watch it in about 28 to 30 hours. But it's done like on a day-by-day basis, 9 to 6, 9 to 6, etc. Right? Let me see. And I'm not trying to be a smart ass. It's just 9:15 at night. Do you show Aweber and Active Campaign? I've been told they're good. Do you show? We teach Aweber and ConvertKit, Mitzi. Kathy. Kathy, yes, Kathy, just go to the link. What I suggest, Kathy, just go straight to that link straight away and sign up, because you do not want to miss out on the offer. When you pay in full, you get 2 one-to-ones with me, myself, and you're also going to get my Mindset Mastery for free. And if you change your mind, you're going to be able to get your money back in the next 7 days anyway. So it's like a completely no risk offer to you. Absolutely nothing for you to potentially lose out on here. In fact, you get, even if you change your mind, you get a ton of stuff for free. Thank you, really appreciate it.
That was the best offer I've ever heard of. You're amazing. You're really amazing.
Thanks,
I can't wait to learn from you.
Thank you. Well, look, the way I look at it is, people are stuck at home. They need hope. But they need more than hope. They need a plan, and they need direction, and they need somebody to say, take some sort of leadership for them at least to follow to begin with, so that they can take on a leadership role, not just in their own families, but beyond that, and not let their speaking, take the focus. It's about letting your actions speak louder than words and letting your results deliver here. Because some of you will have done programs before and you haven't followed through on them, so you doubt yourself, right? But life got in the way, other priorities got in the way. The program didn't fail you, you just didn't have time to do it. This is the time to say, right, it's different this time. I'm going to stick with this until I succeed. That's all you need to do. Don't worry about the technical stuff. Don't dig too deep in questions. Sometimes I worry with questions and answers because people then start to come up with questions that really aren't relevant right now. We're going to show you step by step everything you need to know. We'll start you from scratch, regardless of what your experience is. We're going to bring you along and hold your hand and make this the best possible experience that you can ever have.
And I want to tell you something else about Paul. I didn't want to use this in my introduction because I didn't want to bias you, but now that we've already made the presentation, I want to tell you that I really respect and admire Paul so much that we have agreed to co-author a book together. And indeed, we've already completed writing it, and we're just about to publish it. And you're going to learn all about that. This is going to be so exciting. So he is not just a colleague or a friend. We are co-authors. We're buddies. Our companies work together. And I am so honored that Paul has done such a dazzling job offering you the best deal I've ever seen to my specific clients because we're such good friends. This is a deal you'll never get again.
Okay. Well, thank you, Raymond. I think we can wrap at that. We'll leave it at that. I really appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much for all of you that have been here today. You know where the link is. I think people are now finally being able to get in. So here's your chance. You're going to love it. You've nothing to lose. It's all upside. At the end of the day, there's very few things you can say that about in today's world, where you can start running ads for $1, making you $12 back, crazy returns, but you've got to take the steps. You've got to follow the actions. This won't do itself, right? You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to follow the steps, but I'm here to guide you and show you exactly what you need to do. Okay, so thank you, everybody.
If you were having trouble getting in to purchase this amazing program, I think you can now, because I'm getting a minute-by-minute report, and the number of purchasers has just skyrocketed. So
just shut up. Okay, perfect. You're getting it now. Fantastic.
.com/social media, or if you're having any trouble at all, mpatel@aaron.com. Take a screenshot, take a photograph, whatever. Get into this, and I'm going to be sitting beside you, learning from this wonderful man.
Well, thank you, everybody. Donald, the answer to that is a yes. Of course, if you're a client of mine already, that's not a problem. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to chatting to you guys very, very soon. See you on Saturday morning. See you again on Monday. We're going to see a lot of each other, and that's a good thing. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Raymond.